It started with a single minifig, and before I knew it, I had dozens, each one unique, detailed, and deserving a proper showcase. But no matter where I looked, I couldn't find a display case that truly captured the magic of the collection I'd built. So I teamed up with my friend Sam, and together we put together our own. Today, I'll walk you through how we brought the ultimate minifig display case to life. For the main body of the case, we're using the Pop Mart Luminous Display Container. This is that company that's popping off right now because of those crazy things called Labubus. Not my thing, but I guess a lot of people are enjoying those. They come in 3 different color variants, pink, yellow, and white. As you can see here, I did go with the white one, though I do intend on changing the color of the outside to match more the theme of my downstairs, which is gonna be black. So inside of here, we'll see it's pretty well protected overall, so it ships nicely, all pretty much made of plastic, and we got like an acrylic front sheet on there. But yeah, it looks exactly like a container that you would see at a shipping yard or something like that. Kind of a brilliant idea when you ask me. Like at first I was like, that's kind of ugly. But then when I thought about it, I was like, man, this actually works. From what I understand, these are meant for collectible vinyl figures, and so that's why they have those 2 tiers. Of course, we're going to be converting this to be used for Lego minifigures. Now, if we get, oh crap, these are stuck. So yeah, a 2-tier display with a riser in the back being removable. That's super helpful later when we're going to build onto this and expand it. USB-C cable for LEDs. And some stickers that we will not be using. The LEDs for this thing was one of the selling points for me because you have the acrylic sheet on the front that keeps dust out, the LEDs inside, and also, again, we can customize the inside, at least what we were hoping with me and Sam's plan. So the front door is removable, and it does have some shrink wrap already on there. I'm going to be using some tape to tighten this up just to be sure everything is nice and snug, so that when I do spray paint the outside, because I'm going to be doing a black exterior and a white interior, none of the black paint gets inside. This is kind of tricky. I had a struggle getting this on there. It gets very tight because of that tape, which is what I want, but it was tricky to get back in and sealed up. Now let's get some spray paint on there. For mine, I did choose black because again, my whole downstairs has a theme of black display cases, so I figured I'd have this match it. You can paint it whatever you want, leave it white, decorate it, put some stickers on it, doesn't matter. But for me, I chose black, so this is a little bit of an extra step that is personal to me, but it's something that's going to go well with everything in my display room. And once that was dried, here is the final result. I used some matte black paint on this one, and very, very nice overall. The masking really made it easy, especially with that shrink wrap on the front. So now it's time to build up some of the inside layers. I decided to try using this white base plate with an adhesive bottom, and I'll cut it to size as needed. To measure how long I need to, or where I need to make the cut, I'm going to be putting some bricks onto here, and then grab a pair of box cutters and basically slice on the outside of here until I get the desired cut, and then I should be able to just snap it in half and get things going. I gotta say, I've never cut a base plate before, so it felt uncomfortable, but thankfully it was very easy to snap. Now I do need to cut on the outside because that adhesive part did not cut. So I'll do that off screen, and here it is. I gotta say the cut, it was very clean for this one, and it looks nice. Honestly, you couldn't even tell that it's cut, but that only covers a certain section, so I do need to cut a few more pieces. I'll use these as a measuring tool, so 10 wide, and I think 10 back for this one. Here's that second piece. It's not as clean cut as the other one, but thankfully the non-clean cut part is in the back, so we won't be seeing it at all. But I chose 10 studs deep. You can see the width here because we're gonna have one layer be 5 studs and the other layer be another 5 studs. The adhesive strips are very, very easy to do, but you got to be careful, of course, when attaching these. So this, oh crap, sorry, that broke. I got to fix it. But be careful when you put this on there so you get the right angle, because obviously once you put it on, it's going to be a pain in the butt to get off. But there's how that looks on the bottom, creating our first layer to build up on, as we're gonna have this be, again, like a tiered, layered display. Removing this back riser, again, this is very, very helpful so we can get a base plate on top of here. Here's the 2 sections I cut out. You do have to have some notches in the corners because the back of the container does have some parts that are sticking out. So that's how I custom cut these to fit the top layer of that riser. For the back section, I cut with scissors. The front, again, with those box cutters. So got a pretty decent cut overall. Not perfect, but you can't tell once you get the minifigs in here. So we can slide that back into place. And that pretty much, again, builds the ground portion for us to be able to build on top of here. There's that corner section that I had to cut the slit out for. Pop Mart, if you're watching, I'd love for you to make something like this up to this point. It would be very helpful. So for this next section, I'm going to be using these 2x4 squares and the 1x3. And I'm going to show you what the first layer looks like on here. So I needed the 3s for those sides, and then all the 4s go in the back. This top section is 4 studs deep for each row. That's our first layer. I'm going to be doing our second layer with a 2x3 and a 2x4s. And I lied, I had to use a 1x4 over here because of the way I interlock the bricks and stagger them a little bit. But there is our second layer. Everything's looking good, and that is the last layer that aims towards rising things. So the next one's going to be kind of the icing on the cake, where we put these flat pieces as well as the 3x4 stands that we're going to be putting the minifigures on. I did decide to put these stands on the front section because I want to allow for the minifigs to have some depth if they need to in the back. Some of them have accessories that require a little bit of depth, so we'll give them 1 stud's worth. And there are those smoother pieces, the 1x2s, that allow it to look nice. I need to get some 1x1 smooth ones to put in the back here, but you can't really see those, so I may or may not get those in the end. Easy enough, we'll just slide this back inside of the case and scoot everything a little bit forward so we can take a look at it. We'll begin to build that bottom row section. It's going to be too high, just like the top as well. I like the height difference when we do that. 3 was a little bit too high. And with the first layer done, you can see I did try to cut costs a little and leave out the center sections for some of these. I have the 2x4s in the back and a row of 1x1s, some long pieces that go along the front there. And then our second layer is going to be solid except for the center. So again, just saving a little bit of money on some bricks that I had to buy. I went ahead and did the third layer off camera, so the stands and smooth pieces are all set. Now on top we have a lot of headspace, or it feels like that. That's okay, because when we're displaying these, we do want a little bit of breathing room on top, and it actually looks better from the display case if it's not too packed and full inside. Now you might be wondering, right, what's this button up top? It's the power switch for the LEDs. So if we spin everything over on the side, there's these little flaps here that reveal the USB-C power outlet on the inside. And so if we get the cable that we bought before and get this plugged up, it goes into a USB as well. It's nice. Again, this could have been battery powered. They could have went that route, but thankfully it is powered by electricity. And so this makes it to where we can turn them on and off very easily and not have to drain battery, replace batteries. And so there's that wire sticking around the side. And yet another reason why this is the ultimate display case is the LED lights are pure white looking. So they're not that yellowish tint. They give off such a natural looking light to the minifigs inside the case. These lights were seriously the kicker for me. That's the reason why I went with these cases, because other display cases are dust proof or can hold a lot of minifigs, but this one can bring them to life and have all those colors shine and just allow for the group to really be seen in the entire display case. If you're stuck around this long, you get to see something special. So this is my Pokemon minifig display case. These are all customs made by a brand called Liberty. This is something I've never ever shown before. I'll tease some other display cases as well. In total, I'll be making about 6 or 7 of them and displaying them behind my computer desk in my display room. Here's a thrown together Naruto themed one. I'll definitely be theming these more, probably progressing as the show does in each case. So refreshing to finally get my collection inside of a worthy display case. This next one is kind of a passion display case with a bunch of brands in here. We have on the left Kingdom Hearts, Monster Hunter, Alatreon Armor, Fullmetal Alchemist, Final Fantasy X, Power Rangers, and some Final Fantasy VII figs. Need to get a Cloud one. All in due time, but right now I'm prepping for my end of the year room tour, and these are going to be going right above my monitor in the top of a garage shelving. So it's going to be great when they're all in line. I hope today's video did help you, inspire you in your collector's journey and showcasing your minifigs. As always, I'll see you in the next. Do what you love and love what you do. Bam out.